All right. We're at 6 now. We'll start doing some introductions here. So welcome, everybody. I see that some people might trickle in here as we go, but my name is Kathryn. I am with the Manitoba Association of Watersheds, the new host for the Envirothon this year, and the community engagement coordinator here. And I am the coordinator for the Manitoba Envirothon as well. On the call, we also have Jacqueline Monteith, the science instructional coach for FSD and a former coordinator of Envirothon, someone that has been helping me learn the ropes here as the new coordinator for the Envirothon. Yeah, so we just wanted to hold a little info session for people that might have questions about this year's event. I know this is the first year in a few that we've had regionals, so we just wanted to make sure that everyone was on the same page and aware of kind of how it works. So just for those of you that might be new to it, the Envirothon is a STEM-based hands-on environmental competition for grades 9 through 12 from all across Manitoba. So it's made up of, there are 5 regional events this year. So there's one in Thompson. In the east, we have it's at the Turon Creek Discovery Center in Steinbach. In the west, we have it in Brandon at the Riverbank Discovery Center. In the south, it will be at Pinkerton Lakes. And then there is a central location here in Winnipeg at Fort White. And at those 5 regional events, as well as the provincial event, there are 2 parts. There's a field test and then an oral competition. And all materials for students are provided by the steering committee of the Envirothon. So they're all listed on our website, where you all, I'm sure, found the link to this meeting. So it's all on the Manitoba Association of Watersheds website in the Manitoba Envirothon section. Registration is live, and we have extended the deadline to the end of February to give teachers a bit more time to kind of sort out if you have questions or if you have some team details to go over. So it's 5 students that can be from various grades. Doesn't have to be all from one grade, but they do have to be from grades 9 to 12 exclusive. And there are 5 different themes. So how it works generally, each student is assigned one theme. So there's aquatic ecology, wildlife ecology, soils and land use. And then there's a theme. There's integrated watershed management this year. And then there's also, what am I missing? Plants and forests. So there's 5 themes that students. Forestry? Yeah, plants and forestry. So there's those 5 themes that students study from, and there's all of the resources, as I said, are on the website. So we recommend that you download those and start handing them out to the students. For some categories, there's some additional information you can find there, some different like soil labeling and like fur identification, scat identification. There's all kinds of really valuable resources on the website. So when you sign up, you're signing up your team of 5 students to one advisor. There's also an advisor guide on the website that has a lot of handy tips and tricks for new advisors, as well as maybe some reminders for well-seasoned advisors. But when you sign up, you're signing up for the regionals. And we had a question just before everyone joined us here about who determines how does it work if you're signing up for a regional, do you decide where your team goes? But the Envirothon steering committee will be deciding based on where the schools and the teams are from, what location is closest to you. That's how we ideally will determine where teams go for their regional events. It's rare, but it has happened that teams might have to go to a different regional location if one is filled up. But we're hoping that doesn't happen this year and everyone goes to the regional event that's closest to them. And then teams compete there, and the top teams from the regional events will then be invited to compete at the provincial event, which is held in the International Peace Garden just south of Wassavain in May. So registration is open again until the end of February. We ask that you have all of your team information submitted by mid-March, just so we have all the names and t-shirt sizes, and we can start finalizing some of those details. If you have any questions, I think this is the time, unless Jacqueline, you have anything else you want to add as kind of an introduction to the Envirothon.
Kathryn, I have a question.
Sure.
So will Fairholme Colony be doing the food at the International Peace Garden? Because that is the best food and the most bacon I've ever eaten in my life.
That is a great question. I actually don't know who the caterer is quite yet for the Peace Garden, but I can put in a request, certainly.
I don't know if you
second
can.
that nomination.
Yeah. I don't know how
I
much
think the
pull
Peace
we'll have,
Garden.
but
I think the Peace Garden is proprietary now. I think you're almost, unless it just before COVID, they had their own caterer on site. But I'm just plugging Fairholme.
all right, Jacqueline, do you have anything to add?
So I'm just going to ask a question
Yeah.
about information about resources. So everything is
Yes.
online
Yes.
for all these aquatics, wildlife, forestry, and okay.
Yeah. So you go to the website, and it's I can just put the website link here in our chat. Yeah, so you head to the website, and then under the resources, today I'll be over the next week I'll be trying to label as many as I can of whether or not you should be studying certain resources for regionals versus provincials. But other than that, all resources are up on the website, so you can download them there. If you have any problems downloading them or accessing them, please just send me an email and let me know, and I can send them to you directly.
So that's an important note. That is something I will add on, is that when you look at the resources, just make sure that you wait for the designation of whether those need to be looked at for regionals or provincials, and ensure that your team is just focusing on the regionals at this stage, because there is a lot of information and we don't want any students to feel overwhelmed or teachers to feel overwhelmed. So once Kathryn's able to designate which ones are for regionals, you'll see that it's pared down quite a bit. So if you're eager to get started before that's done, you could start with the videos. And I believe each one now have a regional guide on there for the discipline?
Soils does not. And integrated watershed management, the regional resource will be going up today. That one we've had trouble condensing for some reason, but that will be going up today as well. Yeah.
Perfect. So yeah, it is a manageable amount of resources. Some is study materials, read and learn. Some is hands-on learning equipment. Some is learning how to go through guides, dichotomous keys, and so on. So it's a nice mix of materials that your students will have exposure to.
And any of like the field test technology or tools, training will be provided for the students at the regional event. So they'll all be well informed on how to do this, use soil testing tools and things like that as well. Do we have any other questions about regionals or provincials or studying?
Just revisiting a question or a discussion that came up earlier is the timing of regionals. So regionals will be held roughly the last half of April with scattered dates. And that is going back to the same timeline that we had for regionals pre-COVID. The reason for that is so that we can determine who's invited to provincials, and it gives those teams an additional 3 to 4 weeks to prepare for provincials, because there are some additional materials that need to be studied. And then the provincial event is at the end of May. So just so everyone knows, yes, that is regular timing for regionals, and we're hoping for no blizzards this year.
That's the dream.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, just
so I will make a couple comments on. Sorry, my timing's off because I'm on the road here.
Go ahead, Jacqueline.
A couple of quick comments on how sometimes teams are formed, or how sometimes schools approach the development of teams. So teams can be formed in many different ways. We're looking for a team of 5 students. They don't actually have to all be from the same school. You can mix and match and not name yourself after a school. It could be Envirothon Club of Southwestern Manitoba, for example. But usually it's easiest if your 5 students are from the same school, just logistically. Some schools run the environmental studies course. So we have developed a course. It is approved in the province. There's a half credit course available at grade 9, half credit at grade 10, 11, and 12. So if a student were to be involved for all 4 years, that's 2 full credits by graduation. You can contact me if you'd like those courses, but I can get that all to Kathryn as well, so you can put them up online. So some people study for Envirothon through that course. Some people apply for the course, but it's a take-home course. So you designate, kind of your studying goals each week or every couple weeks, and students study independently with check-ins. So you can still apply for the course, but not have it as part of your school day, because scheduling can be complex with that. Some teachers like to have it, not worry about the 4 credit course at all. And you have an environmental club after school, lunch hours. And again, your goal as the teacher, as the advisor, is to really facilitate their learning goals. You don't need to know every detail about each of the disciplines in order to be able to help the students work through the material and learn the process, make study cards, whatever is going to work best for your situation. So your approach as a coach with studying can be whatever really works best for you and your group. There's also situations where maybe you feel that you don't get as much study time as you would have liked, and you pick and choose which materials to focus on. And that does happen as well. There also may be situations where you have 4 students or 6 students as part of your team. If you're working with a group of less than 5, you can certainly still come out and compete in the regional event. However, it's a bit of a disadvantage, but if that's what happens, sometimes that's what happens. I do believe there's a restriction where if you have less than a team of 5, then you just won't qualify for provincials. But the regional event in itself is an amazing event too, and there's lots of benefits to joining. If you have more than 5 people interested, some schools will designate their core team of 5 and then a spare. And that spare will study and be a part of the group, but they won't be coming to regionals or provincials unless they need to be a stand-in at the last minute or whatever happens for the team. So yeah, there's different approaches to how schools work with their students.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the advisor guide, we kind of discuss how you form a team, and there are some study tips in there. But yeah, as Jacqueline said, it's kind of a create your own venture, and you know your students best. So figure out a plan for you and your students and a schedule for all of you that works best for their learning needs. Do we have any other questions at the moment?
I was just looking at the resource page on the website. When I go to aquatic, when I click on the plus button, there's regional resource. So this is the link that I need to download for the students.
Yeah. So any of the resources, I think it's aquatic, forest and plant, wildlife, and then today I will add the watershed management one. But any that says outright regional resource. That will definitely be a key resource for the regional competition. For soils and land use, there's a couple others that will come in handy, but I'll label those before the end of day today for you all.
Okay,
I'll put a little asterisk in.
I just saw that under soils there is no regional resource.
No, so soils is a bit. Yeah, soils is a bit different. I was just provided today with the distinction between regionals and provincials. So those will be the soil management guide, the basic guide to soil orders, and then the live stream training for the soil specifically for the regionals.
And soils are so important, Clarence, you need to know everything.
For sure.
And every student fights to be the soils expert.
Oh, okay.
They do. They do.
Yeah, our soils chair has worked very hard to make sure these guides and such are adequate enough for, you know, experts and lovers of soil such as yourself, Kent. So they are they are thorough. Yeah. And yeah, just looking through the advisors guides, you know, we've got registration fees, which I believe is $125 per team for the regional. And then for provincials, if your team goes on and decides to do provincials, if you qualify from the regionals, then it's $1,500 for the full 2 nights, 3 days at the International Peace Garden, and $1,100 if you are not staying overnight as well. So it's a bit cheaper for those teams that aren't staying, but those teams that don't stay overnight at the provincials will still get their full meals and such as well. All food will be provided for them.
So Kent is taking care of that tab, right? Kent Lower? Yeah. Is that what I understood? Oh, he wasn't listening. Oh, okay.
I can't hear you, Clarence. I'll talk to you later.
Got a faulty connection there, I guess.
Well played. Well played.
Well played. Yeah, so if there's no more questions, I don't know if anyone has any opening remarks. Again, if anything comes up, you can feel free to reach out to me. My email is kathryn@manitobawatersheds.org. I'll pop that in the chat for you as well. It's on the website. But yeah, if any other questions come up, feel free to email me, and any updates will be posted to our social media and our website. As we get closer, once you register, I'll be sending any updates for scheduling, any details as well to your email. So make sure that you register sooner than later to start receiving those updates and secure your spot at regionals.
Kathryn, do you have a minute to stay on? I just want to talk about another issue before you take off.
Yeah, absolutely.
Once this is ended.
Yeah, for sure.
It would be nice for
Yeah.
sorry, it would be nice for Ken to volunteer to come to our schools and demonstrate the instruments that are applicable for this, wouldn't it?
Good one, yeah.
That would be great. Kent, any comments on that?
He's got nothing else to do. I mean, shoot.
Mark hasn't spoke this whole meeting, and now he chimes in.
Well,
I think we need that.
am I out of
marathon
line, Kent?
school
I mean,
across
that's
the province.
actually a serious question.
Oh no, we can strike up a deal. But you're special, Mark, in Shamrock, so I don't do this
Thanks.
for just anybody,
No.
though.
Yeah, if you I did mention that all students will be trained on any field test resources and materials, or tools, I should say, at the regional competition. So all students will be informed on how to properly use the field test instruments. But outreach to schools would be great. That's definitely on our radar.
And Kathryn, I believe that the field test tools for each discipline are also listed on the website. So if you do want to work ahead, if you do want to bring in an expert or contact people in your community who would be able to assist with that, then you're certainly more than welcome to.
Yeah, absolutely. The skills in field ecology is on the website as well. So take a look at that ahead of time for sure if you want kind of the upper hand on what your students will be facing. All right. Are there any other questions? No? All right. Well, thank you all. Yeah.
I've got Kent's number, so that's fine.
Yeah. Yes, you can all always call Kent. Always call Kent for sure.
Well, it's perfect. It's lunchtime here, so I'm going to be off. See ya.
All right. Well, thank you all very much for joining us today. And as I said, if you have any questions, lingering questions or things that come up, please don't hesitate to send me an email and we'll answer your questions right away. And we hope that you
Thank you so
register
much.
right away. Thank you all very much for being here. And yeah, Kent, I'll stay on with you for a bit. But yeah, thank you very much, everybody.
Jacqueline, stick around if you have a minute.